says Uganda People's Defense Forces, Uganda Police Force, LDUs, and our supporters from the Uganda Prison Services, we cherish the strategic relationship we have with our people. We are there to protect our people and their property, and we come from the people. So in this regard, we have continued to emphasize to our people who are involved in the enforcement of these regulations, these directives, these guidelines, that it is cardinal that we treat our people with utmost humanity. This continues to be part of the briefings we're giving to the security forces. This is part of the SOPs, part of the rules of engagement that we are giving to the troops that are in operation. It is always good to prevent a situation. The incidents you have very well enumerated, they have happened when it comes to dealing with our Ugandans that do not want to obey the laws. The Ugandans that are found on borders, or Ugandans that have been tempted to violate the curfew time, that is from 7 p.m. to 6:30. So while we condemn our security forces for at times using very unprofessional methods in enforcing this curfew, and also enforcing other regulations that have been put in place, we continue to urge our people that please, obey the rules, obey the regulations, so that you minimize the chance of being into trouble with these security forces. But on our part as leaders, we're not tired to continue talking to our people, we'll continue to guide them so that we maintain this very strategic relationship that we have always had with our people. On the question of health workers, there is no doubt that they provide essential services to our people. But all of us also, at the same time, need to operate within the framework of the rules and the guidelines that have been given to us. The Ministry of Transport has issued stickers to the key essential personnel that are providing services during these tough times. So we expect these health workers to have benefited from these stickers so that they are able to do their work during the day. Us in the security, we are definitely very reasonable, no doubt about that. That's why we have managed to create this environment that all of us are operating in. Let's improve on how we get identified. We have time and again talked about the need to carry work identification. I'm sure each of these all our institutions, including the media houses, you issue identification cards to your personnel. Have them on. Put on the uniform of the institution you work in. If you're a medical officer, you'll have your jacket on. That also helps the security forces to really identify you as a medical officer. When it comes to working at night, the medical personnel, they are used to work at night. They are more or less like us in security. Let's have organized rosters. Very, very, very easy. If you are supposed to work at night, be at your place of work early enough. Let the one who is relieving you also have time to get to his or her home before 7 p.m. This is what all of us are trying to do. Have rosters. Those who can't move early enough, there could be facilities at their places of work so that they're able to stay there at night. These are very tough times that have made the country also put in place tough measures. It is through respecting these tough measures that will survive the pandemic. But if we open up and continue maneuvering around, then we are opening the room for this virus to penetrate us. So this is the advice now I can give for now. I invite my colleague Fred to add on this.
I think what was supposed to be added on was on the safety of our officers on the motorized and foot patrols, and even those ones at the stations. The number of measures that management, through our directorates of health services and the security services, have enforced. If you go at every station, you will find a number of health and safety checks in place. We've managed to acquire gadgets that help us in checking the temperature, and we have medical teams that have been placed at every station. Those ones who move on the motorized patrols, we've done a lot in trying to advise them to move with soap and the jerry cans of water, and also to wash and disinfect those patrol vehicles and motorcycles every after 2 hours, 3 hours, and that they are doing effectively. It is not by mistake that up to now we still don't have any COVID-19 case in the security forces. It's not by mistake. And what you are talking about, our enforcement, that police officers are moving with batons, and we are allowed to carry batons. That one is, those are some of the gadgets that we do use in enforcing some of these measures. And like we were indicating to you, we do enforce these depending also on the circumstances. Is it necessary to start using batons at this stage or at some later stage? You've seen on the international scale where there is use of tear gas at this stage, something we are not using. There is use of rubber bullets, live bullets, which we are not using. So our level of enforcement or the enhancement of the authority, it sort of increases with the level of, let me say, with the degree of non-compliance. Now, those disturbing images that you are talking about, those are the incidents which we registered 2 weeks ago. And I remember the CDF, together with the Deputy Inspector General of Police, came out strongly and cautioned our officers on the excessive use of force. And we have deployed teams, alert squads from the police, as well as the military police, to come and police the security agencies that are out on patrol and so on, and they are doing a commendable work. So those interventions are there. And even there's a lot of counterintelligence that we are deploying at this stage. People who are feeding us information, beginning from the top up to the middle level, on the performance of our officers. And I would like to tell you that there's a lot of improvement ever since those incidents were registered. There's a lot of change in the manner that we are carrying out our enforcement. But again, another thing that you always avoid, you tend to look a lot at our enforcement mechanisms, but you are not interrogating the public on their conduct, and which is very dangerous. You should be asking and promoting awareness to the community. Why is it that they are going back home late? Why do they continue using borders and other private vehicles at this stage, something that is not allowed? Why are they not observing physical distance? These are things that you should be telling them. But wherever we come, you find we are moving away from the main objective of fighting and trying to correct the behaviors of members of the community, which is very, very dangerous. So let's identify weaknesses in the media, in the community, in the security agencies. That way, we shall be helping each other in fighting this disease. Our borders, we have deployments there. We've taken note of this concern at Bukwo, and we are going to bring it to the Joint Task Force. We have, we've rolled out task teams at all levels. So that means if this is true, our team in CP region is probably not doing enough, and we are going to push this one forward. Then I think those were the areas on my side.